Hi everyone, welcome back. We're doing a whole series of videos here this weekend at Nutrition Farms in Applethorpe. So we have the two farms, one on the Sunshine Coast and the subtropical, and the most cold. Applethorpe is literally the coldest part of Queensland, so it's wonderful for stone fruit and apples and some of the other things that we sort of demonstrate. It's a research demonstration farm, and we're here at the house on this farm, which is this really appealing 110-year-old Italian villa, and it has a little downstairs garden next to one of the downstairs bedrooms here. And so we're just down here setting up because there's a bit of a breeze out there, and we're using a gas burner. And what we're going to teach, we did talk a little earlier in a previous video about multiplying Trichoderma, this wonderful multifunction species, and we'll talk about its functions again as we get to the next stage of this video. But essentially, I came across some research of a even more user-friendly way to efficiently brew up. In fact, we've worked out that we can actually get almost 50-to-1 multiplication, so a kilo becomes 50 kilos, very, very easily. And so it involves a food that they love, which is boiling sorghum, and we boil it for an hour, and we're going to start that process now. And then we're going to take that sorghum, and we're going to keep the cap on to keep it sterile, cool it with the lid on, so it'll take a little while to cool. And then we're going to put it into a black plastic bag, and we're going to lace it with Trichoderma spores, with a product called Trichoshield of ours, with 3 or 4 strains of Trichoderma, and we'll lace it with those spores. We'll put a few little holes so it can breathe and seal the top of the bag, and then we'll put it inside another container so rats can't get to it, because there is a rat issue often at this farm. We've got to poison them. And basically, in a period of a couple of weeks, there will be this very visible fungi just growing through it, and you've actually grown the Trichoderma on a very good medium. Now, the issue with this seed, we found real problems trying to find sorghum seed that didn't have the fungicide treatment, because obviously if you're trying to grow a beneficial fungus, you don't want the the seed treated. And so what we came up with eventually was, of course, it's a stock feed. And so we went to a stock feed place, and of course that was really inexpensive, $18 for a 20-kilo bag of sorghum from a stock feed place that's untreated. Obviously, you don't want to feed fungicides to your horses or whatever. So that's what we're going to use, and we've been boiling our water here on the gas burner, and Carl's going to now feed some of the sorghum into this large pot. We'll fill the pot as much as we can. Well, we can put quite a bit in there, can't we?
It's starting to overboil.
No, that's probably about getting close to it. I'd say that's about it, because it's going to expand as well. It's definitely enough. I've never even tried sorghum porridge, so I might eat some of this myself. Very high in antioxidants, one of the highest antioxidant grains. So, yeah, we've got the big stirring stick, what my dad used to paddle my bottom with back in the day. It's not really. It's got Claudia's name on it, my partner. She got someone to make it up for her. Yeah, so she'll keep an eye on that while we continue and do some other videos, and then we'll come back and teach you the next stage of creating your own really serious multiplication, 50 times multiplication of Trichoderma to build your own. And then we'll talk about what you do once you've got this seething mass of not seething, but this very visible mass of Trichoderma hyphae, and how you then can process that to use it on the farm. And it's fairly simple, but we'll demonstrate how to do it. So that'll be the next step. Thank you. We'll come back in a minute for this. So we're on dusk of day 2 of our filming, our last film for this series. I think we've filmed something like 15 different videos that will be coming up over the next 15 weeks. But this one is, we started the first process as the first video of the day, well, earlier on in the day, so you've seen that footage will be part of the story. And we showed you the boiling of that sorghum, which was boiled for an hour, and this is the end product, which we've now had sitting in the cold room to try and cool it down, because it stayed hot in the pot. You have to keep it in the pot. We're trying to keep it sterile, so we can't just open it up and cool it down. And so we put it with a big lid on the pot, and we put it in the cool room to cool it down. And so now we're going to mix in the trichoderma. So sorghum's got some wonderful food. This is Layla here. She's just been, some of it spilt as we were pouring it into here, and she's been gobbling it up and getting a mouthful of sand as well. But it's certainly, it was a beautiful smell cooking the sorghum. I've never had sorghum porridge, but I'm tempted now. Wonderfully high antioxidant, very good value grain. So what we're going to do, and Claudia's agreed to help, which is lovely. And she's got her gloves on, of course, very important when you're mixing something like trichoderma. It's not toxic, but you probably don't, it wasn't designed to have a lungful of it or have it all over your hands. So obviously you're going to use gloves whenever you're working with a microbial product. And we've got ourselves about 1/3 of a kilo of trichoderma, a product called TrichoShield with 4 or 5 different varieties of trichoderma in them. And we're going to, as Claudia's mixing it in, I'll just scatter it in and she'll begin the mixing process.
I'll just pour.
She's making a little hole in the middle of it so we can
That's
pour.
actually still very warm.
Yeah, that's okay.
And just sprinkled it everywhere, baby. It
Okay.
makes it a much easier life.
So we're going to mix this, try and mix very levelly, evenly.
This, oh, you.
You've done it all here. So as Claudia continues to mix this all together, so we've got trichoderma spores over every part of it, I'll explain why we might want to multiply trichoderma or use trichoderma in agriculture full stop. It's one of my sort of top 3 microbes. Wonderfully diverse creature. Of course, its biggest claim to fame is the fact that it controls more, it's a predatory fungi that eats things like fusarium, like pythium, like rhizoctonia, like phytophthora, over 30 different diseases this thing is a predator for. And that's part 1 of its disease control. Part 2 of its disease control is that it is really, it's now thought that at least half of the control is not related to its predatory function, it's related to its stimulation of plant immunity. It produces several biochemicals that really boost the immune system of the plant. Now, it will live sort of like mycorrhizal fungi for the entire life of the crop. And so to use it instead of those treated fungicide seeds, which I hate because you can't put mycorrhizal fungi on them, you can treat them with trichoderma. And some countries have almost legalized the fact that you should be doing that. Trichoderma on the seed will control all of those damping off diseases as well as the fungicide. But the fungicide lasts a few weeks. The trichoderma lasts for the full crop cycle. So it's a no-brainer that it's a better option to put trichoderma on your seed. So we're teaching you how you can multiply trichoderma, and sorghum's a great food. We looked at all the options. Rice, of course, could have been an option and is an option, but the sorghum is a really good food, really high antioxidant, and trichoderma loves it. So we're mixing these spores. Claudia's mixing these spores, and we can see it's quite a nice even mix here of the powder throughout everything. And then we're going to put it into a plastic bag. Let's talk about the other things that trichoderma does, because I mentioned multifunction. So we mentioned a dual effect on disease control and immune elicitation and this predatory effect. But then we look at other things. It's a phosphate solubilizer, and a really good one. It's a really voracious cellulose digester. So if you use trichoderma in a paddock full of stubble, the following season you'll have a wonderful result, because as it bred up, because you put it out in a field full of tucker, that ongoing effect of release of phosphorus will be subsequent in the next crop. You'll have this yield increase, and people often report it from building up the trichoderma numbers and the release of phosphorus and all these other things that it does in the soil. So as I said, and it will be breaking down that humus and that stubble and turn it into humus very effectively. So that's a good role for trichoderma. But there's more things. I mean, it can work like a plant growth. Yes, thanks. For propagation, trichoderma will give you equivalent to rooting hormones, the effect in terms of extra rooting on cuttings. The list goes on and on. It's a remarkable thing, and this is a great concept of multiplying it. So the idea is we put it into this black plastic bag, and we put the plastic bag into a plastic container so rats can't get to it, and then we're going to put it in the dark room. We're going to put it in the room beneath this old villa, which they used to use to make the cured meats and so forth. It's just a little dark little room that we can seal up, and we'll put it in there, and we'll leave it for a week or 2 and watch the hyphae grow through it. We'll get some photos, hopefully, of that process. Although maybe we won't, because we won't be here. We'll be overseas for the next couple of weeks. But anyway, we'll see what we can do.
Maybe you should give it to Hal to take home.
Now, once you've got this maze of hyphae, once you've got that maze, then basically you can extract it with a compost tea extractor, so you can beat the hyphae off that food source, or there is a concept that you can actually dry the spores you can sun dry it. So you put this whole thing out and sun dry it, and you've actually got a longer term inoculum that you can use with the Trichoderma spores and so forth present in it, and you've got a bit of shelf life if you want to do that. So there's a couple of possibilities with it, but it's a nice way to multiply, and very simple way to multiply. That's good. That'll do us.
I'll go and rinse this one out quickly.
Yeah.
And then we can put it back in here, yes?
Okay. So we've got our bag, and we've got it all nicely inoculated, and we're going to seal the bag, and we're going to take a knife, and we're going to, well, you've got a pin there. We're going to make a few little holes there. We've just got to seal this completely. You just tighten that. How do you? So we've sealed that off, it's airtight, and we're going to make it, still going to have some oxygen. It's an aerobic organism, so we're going to make a few little holes, probably 10 or 12. That's good. Just dot them around it, plus even more, maybe 15, 20, that's enough. That's good on both sides, yep. A few little holes that'll allow it to breathe and to multiply. And then we're going to put it in that plastic container Claudia's just cleaning off, and we'll take it off and we'll put it in the salami room, the little room, for that purpose in this old 120-year-old villa behind us. So that's the process. That's creating your own Trichoderma inoculum. And I'll thank, we've got Layla being held here. I'll thank Adam behind the camera, and he's helped out a few times with some other things and formulations and all sorts of things that he contributes to the story. And Carl for all his effort, and Claudia, who'll be back shortly with her plastic container. And Layla, who just ate half the sorghum on the ground. I'll give her some of this. Look at this. Yeah, it's nice, isn't it? Yeah, that's sorghum. Good girl, good girl. Okay, so we're just doing the final stage. We're going to lift this and try not put our hands through the plastic. So we just got our arms tucked underneath it, and we'll drop that into our bag, perfect fit. And we'll seal this loose fitting lid, just sitting loosely on there, and we'll take that over now and we'll put it in the salami room, and we'll leave it there for a couple of weeks, and it'll be a maze of Trichoderma hyphae that we've grown.